We did it!
Hey! Woohoo! Let's go!
Michael Davis woke up at 5:30 a.m. to his phone alarm. After 23 months of unemployment and 147 rejected applications, today was finally the day that could change everything. The interview at Zenith Corporation for Senior Project Manager was at 3 p.m. In their cramped room in Surulere, Lagos, space was tight. Michael shared a thin mattress with his younger brother Joseph. Their sister Grace slept in the corridor outside. The navy blue suit Michael wore had been their late father's, slightly too big, but a tailor had adjusted it for 500 naira. "You'll do well today," Grace said, handing him tea in a chipped mug. She had dropped out of nursing school when Michael lost his job. "I can feel it." By noon, Michael was ready. Documents in hand, he left for Lekki, calculating he'd arrive 30 minutes early. The BRT bus crawled through Oshodi's chaos, past street hawkers and Danfo buses. By 2 p.m., he was walking toward the Zenith Corporation building, sweat forming on his forehead under the brutal Lagos sun. At 2:15 p.m., he heard it. "Please. Somebody help me." A black Mercedes sat stalled in the middle of the road. Behind the wheel, an elderly woman in traditional attire looked panicked as drivers honked and shouted insults. Michael's mind raced. He still had time, but barely. He made his decision. "Madam, let me help you." The woman's face flooded with relief. "Thank God. Young man, it just stopped." Michael tried starting the car. "Nothing. We need to push it," he announced, recruiting 2 reluctant drivers to help move the Mercedes to the roadside. "What is your name?" the woman asked, dabbing her forehead. "Michael. Michael Davis. Let me give you something." "No, madam. Anyone would have done the same." He glanced at his watch. 2:35 p.m. "I have an interview, but let me call someone for you first." "An interview? You shouldn't be late." "I can't leave you stranded." 20 minutes later, after calling a tow truck and waiting for the woman's son, Michael checked his watch. 2:58 p.m. His heart sank. Even running, he'd be late. "I'm so sorry," the woman said, noticing his distress. "It's not your fault, madam. Take care." Michael arrived at Zenith Corporation at 3:17 p.m. The receptionist was sympathetic but firm. "The panel has started with the next candidate. They rarely reschedule for tardiness." The bus ride home was a blur. When Grace and Joseph saw his face, they knew. "But you did the right thing," Joseph said, though his voice lacked conviction. The right thing didn't pay rent or put food on the table. That night, Michael lay awake, his father's words echoing. "Character is who you are when no one important is watching." But what if someone important had been watching? Wait. Michael helped a stranger and missed his dream interview. Did he make the right choice or the biggest mistake of his life? If you're on the edge of your seat, smash that like button and subscribe to Folktales by Inayah. Drop a comment. Would you have stopped to help? The next part reveals something shocking. Turn on notifications. 3 days passed. Michael fell into a dark routine. Check job sites, send applications, wait for rejections. The rent was due in 11 days. "Brother, eat something," Grace pleaded on Thursday morning. Friday afternoon, his phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello, is this Michael Davis?" a professional voice asked. "Yes, speaking. I'm Ngozi from Zenith Corporation, Human Resources. We'd like to offer you another opportunity. Monday at 10 a.m. Michael couldn't believe it. "Yes, absolutely. Thank you." That evening, the siblings celebrated with rare joy. Grace even bought meat for dinner. Sunday night, Michael barely slept. At 6:45 a.m. Monday, he left, arriving at Zenith by 8:30 a.m., ridiculously early, but he wouldn't risk being late again. At 9:45 a.m., Ngozi appeared. "Mr. Davis, come with me." Instead of the interview rooms, they headed to the elevator. "Where are we going?" "The executive floor." Michael's confusion grew. Why was he meeting executives? The nameplate read, Mrs. Rebecca Johnson, Chief Executive Officer. His stomach dropped. Had something gone wrong? Send him in, came the voice from inside. Michael entered. Behind a massive mahogany desk sat an elegant woman in her 60s. She looked up. His world tilted. It was her. The woman from the stranded car. Mr. Michael Davis, she smiled warmly. Please, sit down. I believe we've met. Michael sank into the chair, speechless. You're the CEO? I am. And you're the young man who stopped to help me when my car broke down. The same young man who missed his interview because you chose to ensure my safety. I didn't know who you were, Ma. Exactly. Which makes your kindness genuine. Do you know how many cars passed me that day? At least 50. But you stopped. You sacrificed your opportunity for a stranger. Mrs. Johnson explained how her son investigated who helped her and discovered the missed interview. I founded Zenith Corporation 28 years ago with one principle. Character is more important than competence. I've reviewed your credentials. You're qualified for the senior project manager position. But I'm not offering you that. Michael's heart sank. I'm offering you something bigger. Something that requires not just competence, but character. She slid a folder across the desk. Inside were documents about the Community Impact Initiative, a program to build technology training centers in underserved communities across Nigeria. I want you to lead it. I want you to be the director of Community Impact. Michael stared at the salary. 4 times his previous job. Housing allowance. Company car. Health insurance. Ma, this is enormous. What if I fail? Mrs. Johnson smiled. Those questions tell me you're the right person. Take 24 hours. Discuss it with your family. That night, Michael couldn't sleep. At 2 a.m., he stood outside, looking at the stars, thinking about his late parents. They would want him to take this chance, to help others as they always had. At dawn, his decision was made. At 9:30 a.m., Michael returned to Zenith Corporation. Yes, Ma. I accept. Mrs. Johnson's face broke into a warm smile. Welcome, Director Davis. We have work to do. Oh my God. The stranded woman was the CEO the entire time. And now she's offering Michael something bigger than he applied for. If you're dying to know what happens next, smash that like button and subscribe to Folktales by Inayah. Comment. Do you believe in divine timing? The next part shows Michael's first huge challenge. Share this. Turn on notifications now. 3 weeks of intensive training followed. Michael worked 12-hour days learning rural development, government partnerships, and community engagement. His family moved from their cramped room to a modest 2-bedroom in Ikeja. Grace re-enrolled in nursing school. Joseph's university fees were paid. You're working too hard, Grace said one evening, closing his laptop. 40 million naira is riding on this pilot project, Michael replied. If I fail, it's not just my job, it's all those communities. His first major assignment came in week 4. Mrs. Johnson pointed to a map. Amaguns, Enugu State. My home village. Win their trust, and we can succeed anywhere. 2 days later, Michael and Yomi, a communications specialist, drove 7 hours through increasingly rough terrain to Amaguns. Children played barefoot. Women carried water. Buildings crumbled. Chief Samuel, the village head, received them with cola nuts but guarded skepticism. You've come to save us with computers? His tone dripped doubt. Many have promised. All disappeared. Chief, we haven't come to save anyone, Michael replied. We've come to listen. To build something with your community, not for it. Words are easy. Actions matter. Over 3 days, Michael and Yomi talked to everyone. Farmers, traders, students, teachers. They met David, a 16-year-old who taught himself programming on an old phone. I built an app to track farm yields, David explained shyly. But people say I'm wasting my time. You're not, Michael said firmly. If this center gets built, would you become an instructor after training? David's eyes widened. Me. Teach others. Why not? You've proven you can learn. Imagine what you could do with proper training. That evening, Chief Samuel called a meeting. Over 200 villagers gathered under a mango tree. Michael stood before them, feeling their skepticism. 3 months ago, I was going to the most important interview of my life. On my way, I saw a stranded woman. Everyone drove past, honking. I knew stopping would make me late, but I couldn't leave her. He paused. I helped her. I missed my interview. I thought I'd lost everything. But that woman was Mrs. Rebecca Johnson, CEO of Zenith Corporation. She saw my character, not my credentials. She gave me this opportunity to pay forward what was given to me. An elderly woman stood. My grandson David is always with that phone. Will this center truly help him? Michael walked closer. Mama, David built an app at 16 with just YouTube. Imagine what he could do with proper training. We can provide opportunity. Success is up to them. Questions followed, some hostile, others desperate. Michael answered honestly, never over-promising. Chief Samuel finally stood. This young man speaks with honesty. He listens. He shows respect. But respect isn't enough. We need proof. Return with plans, architects, builders. Show us you mean it. Give me 2 weeks, Michael promised. And we'll include the community in every decision. This will be your center, not ours. As the crowd dispersed, David approached with shining eyes. Do you really think I could become an instructor? Michael squeezed his shoulder. David, talent isn't about where you're from. It's about what you're willing to work for. If you're committed, you could go even further. University, maybe even a tech company in Lagos. Driving back, Yomi said, you gave them reality with hope. That's what they needed. Now I have to deliver, Michael replied. His phone buzzed with Mrs. Johnson's message. Getting them to listen is easy. Making it happen is hard. Are you ready? Michael looked at the passing landscape, thinking about David, the elderly woman, Chief Samuel's skepticism. He typed, I'm ready. Let's build something real. Wow. Michael faces his first real test. The community is skeptical and he has 2 weeks to prove himself. Can he deliver? If you're rooting for him, smash that like button and subscribe to Folktales by Inayah. Comment. Have you ever had to prove yourself when nobody believed in you? The final part reveals if Michael succeeds and it's powerful. Share this. Turn on notifications. 6 months later, Michael stood at the entrance of Amagun's Technology Training Center at sunrise. The modern building gleamed with solar panels, large windows, and a sign, where potential meets opportunity. Inside, David taught web development to teenagers, the shy boy now a confident instructor. In another room, Rachel, a widow, led a digital marketing workshop. She'd tripled her income selling crafts online and now taught others. Today was the opening ceremony. 500 villagers gathered. Mrs. Johnson arrived with board members and government officials. Media cameras captured everything. Chief Samuel approached Michael. Director Davis. Or should I say our son Michael? Chief, you honor me. No, you honored us. You returned with plans, architects, builders. You included us in every decision. You treated us as partners. The ceremony began with prayers. Mrs. Johnson spoke about breaking poverty cycles through education. But the moment that brought tears came when David stepped forward. 6 months ago, people said I was wasting my time, David began. That a village boy had no future in technology. Then Mr. Michael came. He didn't just promise, he listened. He saw potential, not poverty. He believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. His voice grew stronger. Today, I stand as an instructor. Mr. Michael taught us that talent is everywhere, but opportunity isn't. He brought opportunity. Now it's our responsibility to use it and pass it on. The applause was thunderous. Michael wiped his eyes. Mrs. Johnson whispered, "This is why I chose you. You don't just build programs, you build people." Later, Michael's phone rang. Grace called from Lagos with news. She'd been offered a position at Lagos Teaching Hospital. Joseph made first class and received a scholarship offer. Less than a year ago, they were struggling to eat once daily, facing eviction. Now, his siblings thrived. Mrs. Johnson approached. The board approved 15 more centers nationwide. "You've proven the model works." She showed him a message from a boy named Emmanuel in Borno State. "Mr. Michael, I'm 14. I saw your center opening. I've been learning programming, but my phone broke. Will you come to Borno? I want to learn. I want to build apps for farmers like my father. Please remember Borno. Remember Emmanuel." Tears threatened again. So many brilliant young people trapped by circumstances. "Which is why your work is beginning," Mrs. Johnson replied. "You can't save everyone, but you can create a model others will replicate." Chief Samuel pulled Michael aside. "I want to give you something." He held out a small carved wooden eagle. "This belonged to my father, and his father before. It represents vision, courage, and seeing from higher perspectives. You've shown these qualities. Chief, this is too precious. What you've given us is precious beyond measure. You've given our children hope. That's worth more than any carving." That night, under the stars, holding the eagle, Michael reflected on his journey. 9 months ago, he was desperate and unemployed. He'd stopped to help a stranger, thinking he'd sacrificed his last chance. But that sacrifice had seeded something far greater than a job. His phone buzzed. "Mr. Davis, this is Pastor Joshua from Borno. Young Emmanuel organized our youth after seeing your video. They meet nightly under a tree, teaching each other technology. They call themselves the Waiting Scholars. Please don't forget Borno." Michael typed immediately. "Tell Emmanuel and the Waiting Scholars their wait is over. We're coming to Borno. Tell them to keep learning, keep preparing. Their turn is coming. You have my word." 3 years later, Michael addressed a national education conference. The initiative had grown to 65 centers, training over 15,000 graduates. "People ask the secret to our success," Michael said. "It's simple. We saw people, not problems. We listened before prescribing. We honored every community's dignity." He paused. "But I want to tell you about the moment that made this possible. On a busy Lagos road, I chose between my ambition and someone's need. I chose compassion. That moment opened the door to my destiny." His voice grew passionate. "Every day, we face these choices. Do we walk past someone needing help because we're too busy? Or do we stop? These small moments of choosing kindness over indifference, these change everything." 5 years after that fateful day, Michael married Sandra, a volunteer from the centers. At their wedding, Mrs. Johnson revealed something stunning. "That day my car broke down. It wasn't really broken. I could have restarted it. I wanted to see what people would do. I'd been disillusioned, wondering if kindness still existed. Michael, you restored my faith." Everyone was stunned. It had been a test, an old woman hoping goodness still existed. But I didn't plan to find not just a good person, but an exceptional leader who'd transform thousands of lives. I looked for kindness but found greatness. And Michael still doesn't see himself as great. He just tries to do right. That humility makes him extraordinary. Later, Michael received a message from Emmanuel, now 19, graduating with a software engineering degree. The photo showed him in cap and gown. "Thank you for remembering me, Mr. Michael. I built an app helping farmers optimize yields. 8,000 farmers across Borno use it. You changed my life by believing in me. I'll spend my life changing others' lives the same way. The circle continues. Michael and Sandra both wept. This was the real reward, knowing one act of kindness created ripples touching lives in ways he'd never fully know. That night, Sandra asked, if you could go back to that day, would you do it again? Michael thought about all the transformed lives, communities, and young people who now dared to dream. About David, Emmanuel, Rachel, and thousands whose names he'd never know but whose lives were touched by one decision. I'd do it 1,000 times over, he said softly. That wasn't just the day I helped someone. That was the day I discovered who I am. The day my life found its purpose. The day everything changed. Michael understood his father's truth. The greatest achievements come not from pursuing success, but from living with integrity. Not from seeking recognition, but from serving faithfully. Not from protecting what's ours, but from giving freely to others. The interview he thought he'd lost had led him to something far greater than a job. It had led him to his destiny. And it all began with a simple choice: to stop, to help, to sacrifice, to care. That choice changed everything. From unemployed and desperate to transforming thousands of lives. Michael's one act of kindness created a legacy that will last forever. If this story moved you, if it inspired you, if it made you believe in the power of doing what's right, smash that like button right now and subscribe to Folktales by Inayah. Drop a comment. What act of kindness changed your life? Share this story with everyone who needs to remember that character matters more than credentials. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our powerful stories. Remember, your destiny might be hiding in your next decision to help someone. God bless you. See you in the next story.